Hi everyone, this is Mohammed Sadiq. In this session, we'll learn about the concept of slicers. Now, what is a slicer? So when I talk about a slicer is an interactive way of filtering. Okay, it's the interactive filters. So very useful when you're creating some dashboards where we have multiple visuals and we have created the dashboards or reports and you're presenting it, okay, to the business managers. When I'm presenting this to the business managers and I want to filter and show only a data of a specific regions or between a specific dates. So in that case, if I have to use this particular filters and then add a particular dimensions and measures and then filters, this looks more like a developer's job. Okay. I want to have an interactive way, a very user-friendly interface, even for filtering and getting only the data what is needed. So you can see here I have just this a sample dashboard of a sales data. And you can see here, I have two filters here. So one is the filter with respect to the regions, and I have another filter with respect to the dates. Let us see how this particular works. Okay. So now if I say, okay, this is my total sales data. If I select the West region, so you can see as soon as you select the West region here, all my visuals, everything is changing. So you can see this has been changed to the West region. The map is changing. The measures are changing. All these are changing to the West region only. Okay. And then when I talk about, say, South, so you can see that. So all the information is changing to the South region. And you can see this is a very interactive way of getting the information what is required for you. Okay, deselected, good. I want to filter based on the dates. So you can see we have a date slider here. So it is showing the date of from the very start to the very end. Now I say, no, I don't want to see the complete data. I just want to see the last 2 years data. I can use the slider here and I can just select from which date to which date. Or we also have a kind of a calendar filter here. And I say, I want to see from January 2020, okay, Jan 1st, 2020 onwards. Okay, I can just see, and you can see accordingly, like, the values, everything gets filtered and it shows me the data for that. Okay, this is how is the interactive filters happen. This is what is a slicer. Slices are. Now let us see practically how do we do the slicer from the scratch. I'll just add a new page here. Okay, see, the slicer again can be applied on the maps. It can be applied on different visuals. It can be applied even the cards, numeric cards, and also it can be applied on the tables. In this example, I will take the table. The reason is like we can see the complete, the numbers, data, and all those things. And when you do a slicing, so we can see how the values are changing more effectively. Okay, so now in this one, so let me take in the rows subcategory. And I'll just say in the columns, I will take the regions. Okay, and the values, let me take the sales. Yeah, I think this should be fine. So this is my, what is here, a matrix is created where we can see that we have the row wise subcategories, and column wise we have the regions, and we can see we have the information like, what is the total sales of each subcategory wise, what is the total sales for the region wise, as well as a particular subcategory for a particular region, what is the sales. We have all this information. Now let us see how do we do this particular filtering using a slicer. Okay, so if I have to work with the slicer here, so I'll go to the insert visuals. In the visuals, you can see we have this, what you call it as a slicer. Okay, so you can see an icon with a filter on that. So that means this is mainly used for filtering purposes. I have added a slicer. You can see it is added as an object within your canvas. Okay, and here it says what is the fields you want to add. You can have one or multiple fields. I can just go with region here. So I'll just go to the region here. I've just selected the region. You can see it shows me all the regions here, and I can just select, okay, we can see it shows like a checkboxes here, and I can just select the region that you wanted. Say example, I'm interested in seeing only the West region sales. Okay, and you can see it gets filtered for the West region, South region, respectively. Now, if I want to have a multi-selection, okay, what is that we do? We have to hold on the control key and do a multi-selection. Okay. west, east and west region. If I don't use the control key, you can see only one item, or you want multiple items, you hold on the control key and do a selection. Okay, so it shows all the selected items. Now, sometimes, when you have a small number of items, using a set control key is okay. But I say, when you have a huge list of items and using a control key might be a difficult things. In that case, I want to have a multi-selection without the control key. Okay, you want to change that settings, you can do the changes. So just select the slicer, go to the slicer settings, okay, from the format options here, and there we have a selection, and you can specify how you want your selection to be. Okay, we have this thing called as multi-select with control. You can see here multi-select with control. Right now it is with control, you're doing a multi-select. No, I want to have a multi-select without the control. Okay, so in this case, you can see without the control key, you can select or deselect the items. Can be done. And we also have a show all button. So when I say show all, so you want to say select all or deselect all. Okay, sometimes, we have a huge list of items. And out of that, few items you want to deselect. So what we do is, instead of selecting many items, excluding those, I can just go to the select all and then deselect which is not needed. Okay, and accordingly, the filter happens. So this can be useful. So based on your requirements, you can just include those particular options that you want to have it. The next thing is, okay, so let me take another slicer here. Okay, so I'll just clear this. Cool. Now I'll add a slide, a slicer for the category. Okay, I've selected the category. Okay, so the category wise filter. When I say furniture, it shows me only the furniture items here. When I say technology, it shows me the technologies. Now, under technologies, there are so many items. I want to go to one level granular. So in that case, what I can do here is I can add multiple levels here. I can just say add level here. And if I just say subcategory. So as soon as you add one more field here, so when you see here category and the subcategory, so automatically you can see you get a kind of a small arrows there dropping. So that means it says, okay, there are some sub items there. Okay. Now, where do we use this? And I go to the technology. It shows me all the subcategories of technologies. When I say furniture, it shows me all the subcategories of furnitures. Now, in this one, so you want to select furniture, bookcases, tables. Okay, you have to hold on the control key. We can just make this as without control key. Now I say furniture. Yeah, if I want to select all the items from the furniture, is fine. But technology, I don't want to select all the items. I want to go only with selected items. So I can just say in the technology, I want to see only the phones and machines and copiers. I don't want to see the accessories. Okay. And under office supplies, say I want to see the papers and say appliances. Okay. So only those particular items, what is needed, I can just select that things. Okay. Fine. Clear with this. So this is how we go with this particular slicer. Now, another thing is, see, when you have this normal text slicer, it looks like boring. So we can also have a slicer with a drop down. Okay, so let us see those particular things here. Okay, let me clear this. Now, what I will do here is I'll just remove the subcategory here. So I just have only the category. So there is no hierarchy now. Now, this is like, showing the list of items, like, when you have a huge list, okay, this becomes a little tedious one. So in that case, or becomes, it occupies a long space. So in that case, I can change this particular layout. So go to this, select this particular slicer, go to the slicer settings. Okay. In the slicer settings, we can just expand here and we have the options here. So in the options, we can see there is a style. So by default, it is vertical. Instead of vertical, I can just say drop down. When I say drop down, you can see it's like a combo box. Okay. So it says all, and we can just hit on the small arrow here and you can just select what is needed. So based on that, and we click outside, it goes off. So this occupies a lesser space. So this will be very useful when you select any dimensions which has more values, like example states. We have many states where the sales are happening. So I want to select a particular state. Okay. And when you add a states as a slicer, it will occupy definitely a lot of space. So there, this is going to be very useful. Okay, and you can see since I have given a multi-select option, so that means here we have multiple selections. So if I say no single select option, so you can see here this will change to the radio buttons here, and you can have only one item selected. Fine, and it says what item has been selected. Okay, this is the sales of furniture category, so I say this is the sales of office supplies. Okay, you can see in the category filter here, it says this is the sales of office supplies, and all the subcategories of office supplies for all the regions has been shown. And also you can apply this. So I don't want to see for all the regions, one in the west regions and the east regions. Fine, you can do that. From here also we can do the filters. Fine, this is there. Apart from this, we do also have a different styles here. So like say example, let me go with single selected. Now again, this is like again list of items. So as a like in a normal text, we can also have a style called as a drop down. See, we have seen the drop down. Right? We'll go to the tile. So what is the tile? Tile is kind of a rectangle frames. So you can see when I go to the tile here, it shows me all the regions here, and it is showing as the tiles here. Okay, and from this particular thing, so what I can do is I can just easily select for which region you want it. Okay, and which region you don't want it, you can deselect it. You can hold on the control key. Okay, I've given a single selection. Fine. So it is showing for the east region, a central region, and so on. So you can change the category also to the tile. Yes. Yeah. So you can see here, right now I'm just telling that in the east region for the furniture sales. Or I can have something like this. Or we can go. So now I say technology east region. So I just say this is like, deselect all, or we can have a multi-selection. So we can have this kind of a, what do you say, type. So this will have a more interactive. Okay, it just kind of a buttons what has been there. So we can select or we can deselect the items. Okay, it just shows me only the products belonging to that respective category and that respective regions respectively. Okay, fine. So the next thing is, let us see how do we apply the slicer for the numeric values. When I say numeric values, so this is the slicer with respect to text data. Text data is more of a dimensions. So since it's a dimension, it will have a categorical information. So we can select based on a particular category, we can have a tile and so on. But again, when it comes to numeric data, okay, it is a continuous values. Okay, so you cannot have a distinct values like this. So let us see how do we apply this kind of a slicer for this kind of a continuous data. Okay, so I'll just clear this. Now let us see with the continuous data here. So if I have to go to this particular numeric values, let me go to the another slicer here. And in this one, I'll just take the sales. I'll take the sales here. Yeah, so you can see here in this one, it is trying to tell me like the lowest sales and the highest sales for any order, any record. The highest sales done was on a single order was 22,638, and the lowest sales done for a single order is 0.4 dollar, that is 44 cents, not even $1, not even half a dollar. It is less than half a dollar. So that means what I mean to say is in your sales data, we have some customers who has done in a single order, the lowest sales done was less than half a dollar. So you can see, I'll show you on this one. If I sort this in the ascending order, so we can see the lowest sales done was 0.44 cents. Okay, so that is $0.44, 44 cents. And the highest, when you see, I'll put in the descending order here. So you can see the highest sales for a single order was in a single order, the sales value 6 quantity with a discount of 50%. Okay, a customer has purchased $22,638 on a single order. Okay, this is the highest and the lowest. Now what I want is I just want to filter it out. Okay, so on this particular data. So let us see how do we do that. Now I want to see only those particular sales. Okay, those orders where the sales value is minimum $500 and above. Less than $500, I don't want to consider those sales. How much is the total sales done? So I want to look for that one. So what I do, instead of this particular sales as minimum 400, I'll make this to 500. Okay, so you can see a very when you just say 500, you can see we have almost 10 lakhs of sales which is done more than $500 above. And so you can also specify the minimum value says 1,000. Okay, that means sales which is $1,000 and above. So we have only few sales which is done about 1,000. That is total sales is only 76,000. Okay, and this is for only office supplies and technologies only. Fine. So this is what we do. Okay, as using a slicers, we can do for this. Next is we'll see how do we apply this particular filter for the date values. Okay, let me take another page here. And here I will take this particular table data where I will try to add the order date and I'll add a sales value. I'm taking the order date and the sales value, and yeah, is ready. My visual is ready. So this is the total sales, what has been done from okay, so you can see from January 3rd, 2018, we have till December 2021. We have the sales data here. Okay, so let me create even the line chart or something so we can see how the sales have happened. Yeah, I can include the same thing. So x-axis, I'll take the order date, and I'll just say y-axis, I will take the, so I did not select the order date. Fine. X-axis, I'll select the order date, and y-axis, I'll select the sales. So I can just drill this, where we can see how the sales are happening over a period of time. Okay. Now from this particular data, so what I want to do is I want to apply the filter. Okay. Now see if I have to apply the filter on the date field. So let us see how we go for it. So again, I'm using the same slicer. Okay. So either it is a text data or numeric data or the dates, we use the same slicer. Now what I do here is I'll just include this one called as a date field. I'll just include the order date into the slicer. So when I select this particular order date, okay, so what happens, it shows the list of all the dates, or okay, it is giving a kind of a slider. It just says between this date to this date. So you can see the first order was placed, okay, the minimum date is, or the first order was started from January 3rd, 2018, and we have the orders going till 30 December 2021. So that is the data what I have. So that is a 4 years of data. Now, out of this, I'm interested in seeing only the sales of last 2 years. I say from 2020 January 1st. So what I can do is I can just scroll this particular to get into that one. Or you want a very specific date, you can take the help of the calendar and you can go here. I say I'm looking for 2020. I can increase the year. Okay. And I say 2020 January 1st. So January 1st, 2020 till the end, or even the end dates. I say I don't want till the very end. So I want to go till say 2020. Yeah, it's say 2020 itself. So we can go for it. 2020, I say June 30. That is 6 months data from 1st Jan 2020 to this one. And you can see this is showing from the 1st Jan 2020 to this. And also you can see the map is showing only for that 6 months of data, what is there. Okay, so this is like we apply the filter on the what you say as a date fields. Now I say again, instead of this, you don't want in this way, you want to have a kind of a tile. Yeah, you can apply for that also. Let me go with using a tiles on the date field. We can keep the slicer and we can add another, so we can use the multiple options also. Now I'll just take the order date here. Okay. When I go to the order date, it has a hierarchy here. Okay, because it has a year, quarter, month, and so on. I'll just select the year. Okay, you can see it shows me all the years. By default, it is showing in this particular way. I'll just change the style to a type. Okay, the style of the slicer, I'll change it to the type. When I change it to the tile here, so you can see it shows in the form of a tiles. So that means we have 4 years and it is showing the data of the 4 years. Okay, so now what I do is if I want 2020 sales, okay, just hit on 2020, it shows me only the sales of 2020. Okay, if I say 2021, I want to see the sales, just hit on 2021, it becomes easy. So you can see this, if I'm selecting for a particular what I say year or something, so this selection is better than this one. Okay, slider is between the two specific dates, or if you're going for a particular year, or within the year I'm looking for a particular quarter, so I can say this will be better. So let me add one more thing for this. I'll add one more slicer here. This time I'll just go to the order date and I'll include the quarter. Okay, and I'll just change this to a tile here. Yeah, so I can think we can change this. We can apply the formatting, background, faux color, title, and so on. Now, say example, I'm interested in seeing the sales of 2020 Q3 sales. I'll just say 2020. Okay, under 2023 Q3 sales. Okay, third quarter of this one. So you can see July, August, September of 2020. I say Q3 and Q4. Okay, or you want a specific months in that, you can add one more slicer for the months and you can apply the filters. So this becomes very easy, very interactive way of filtering the data. So this is how we use the slicers. So this is in this session, we have understood the slicer. A slicer, as I said, it's a very interactive way of filtering, okay, the data. So we can use a slicer for the text data, because text data is more of dimensions. They'll have a specific, what I say, discrete values. So you can apply the slicer. We can have a single selections. You can have a multi selections. We can have a drop down to save your space, especially used when you're doing the dashboards. And when it comes to numerics and the dates, we can have a slider. And apart from that, in the dates, we can go to the hierarchical things. And in the hierarchies, we can also go with the dimension-wise filters, like year-wise or quarter-wise or month-wise filters. Okay. As I said, this is going to be very useful when you're creating a dashboard. Because here we are creating a report and you're passing it to your managers or the clients and things. We don't want them to be a kind of a developer guys, you know. For them, if they want to see the information based on the requirement, they should have an easy interface to access the data. So this is the advantage of using the slicer. Okay, thank you for this particular session. So we'll catch up in the next to this one.